You remember reading creepypastas ever or listening to them when you were a kid? And I say when you were a kid, these never say, "Oh my God, they still make creepypastas. What are you talking about?" No, they do not still make creepypastas. They do not still make creepypastas because just because all of the horror YouTube channels are still uploading shit doesn't mean they're still making creepypastas. Because what those guys are reading are shitty fucking Reddit stories from r slash no sleep, which is where all of the fucking 4 or 5 out of 10 mediocre horror authors conglomerate and dump their feces all over the internet so that Creeps McPasta and Mr. Creepypasta can artificially ballast their fucking YouTube careers until the end of time. Ugh, so much garbage. Like, you've seen them with all those fucking titles that nobody likes, that everyone makes fun of. They're like manga. They're like manga titles. And I understand that there's like a cultural fucking like in total fucking sidetrack, but in Japan, I've noticed that like expositionary dialogue and exposition in general is just more acceptable. It's just a thing that people take for granted over there. Us in America, we have the show don't tell, but in Japan it's tell some more, and then tell us a little more, and then show. Just to drive the point home. Anyway, yeah, new creepypastas are basically just like shitty fucking authors trying to do Stephen King. Basically trying to reproduce Stephen King and then miserably failing. And meanwhile, Stephen King's writing like fucking amazing shit and fucking weird shit on the side, like Blood and Smoke. Which, look, I'm gonna assume he's not very proud of that one, but he should be because it's hilarious. It's not very scary, but it's fucking funny. Like, it's not intentionally funny, but it's funny. I wouldn't say it's so bad it's good. It's more like so weird it's good. Anyway, creepypastas, yeah, the old ones. There's two old ones, or oldish ones in particular, that people really like to cling to for some reason. There's the one called, no wait, two, yeah, there's two I want to talk about at least right now. There's one called Pen Pal by a guy called Dathan Auerbach. I'm sorry, my Discord's going all weird. You're just gonna have to accept it. I'm not fucking changing it. Dathan Auerbach. Let's just dissect that name real quick. Dathan. So the name Nathan means of God. It's a biblical Hebrew name. What exactly is Dathan supposed to mean then? If D means like fucking degrade, like, is the opposite of, like, I don't know, the decomposition, stuff like that, you know what I mean? D something. If D something is supposed to be like the reverse of something, or the decline of something like that, then what is Dathan? Is that like the devil's Nathan? Of the devil? I don't know. Dathan. And Auerbach. That's German. We can't fault him for that. But it just reminds me of Bach. It's like saying, who's Bach? Auerbach. That's who's Bach. Who's Bach? Auerbach. Your Bach? My Bach. Our Bach. His Bach. Her Bach. Their Bach. Our Bach. Anyway, yeah, he wrote a story called Pen Pal, which apparently a lot of people hold up, and I don't really like. I don't really like that much. It's just like, it's one of those just like, stalker coming after you. Stalker lives in the wall. Stalker wants this, that, and the other thing. Stalker. He's a stalker. Stalker. And I guess it's kind of implied that the stalker is like the estranged father of the fucking kid it's about. and it has one of those like whoa endings, and I'm not gonna fucking talk about it because it's grisly, right? It's pretty bad, but it's one of those bad endings that it's kind of like typical of stories at that time. It's just like whoa. I didn't think it was gonna end up that fucked up. Then you just kind of get over it, and you're like, this is kind of fucking weird and tasteless. And the whole thing is basically built on shock value. I'm not gonna lie. It's a slapped together story of 6 smaller stories that have very loose connections to each other besides the fact that it's all the main character. Well, actually, no. There's one good one. There's one good one because the premise is okay. I'm not gonna. Sorry, my dog is fucking waiting for my mom to get home. Yeah. So, let me tell you what I have good to say about it though. So the whole format is this guy is recounting his childhood memories, and he's vividly describing a nice one. Oh, it's so calming, it's so nice. Oh, I remember those old days when I was just a little Kidlington, and my dad used to, take me out on the lake, and it was so nice, and oh, don't you just love Starved Rock National Park, Illinois, or some shit like that. And then it goes dark progressively, blah, 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 and then it becomes like the stalker dude. Eventually. The only one of these stories that I actually liked there was one where he talked about an old woman with dementia, and she says, "Oh, she just thinks everyone is her husband. If somebody moved in and said I was your husband, she would just think, oh, that's my husband." And it turns out at the end of the story that the stalker did that and murdered the poor lady, and that was a twist. I mean, I know it was kind of telegraphed by what the guy said at the beginning, but that was an interesting idea. Kind of sad. And like at the end, it was like, well, that old, like, because Tom, the guy, the husband is named Tom, and the whole thing is he's been dead for like 20 years, but this lady has Alzheimer's so bad that she doesn't know. So I wonder when Trump's gonna get like that. Sorry, never mind. So this lady doesn't know, and then the stalker moves into her house, and then I don't know, uses her to his own ends somehow. I don't really know what the end goal is, and then just kills her. Eventually, killed her. Like that, the first half of that has a lot of potential, and then it's just like throw it away. Like, come on. Like, you could have gone so many different places with that, and I know a lot of different graphic things could happen, but a lot of different fucking interesting things could happen. You know what I mean? Same. We're talking about horror here, so same thing. Anyway. Alright. Yeah, the whole story just kind of reeks of wasted potential, in my opinion. I'm not exactly a fucking Pulitzer winner here. I want to be a writer, a sci-fi writer eventually, but yeah, I'm not exactly I'm not an author myself. I'm not published myself quite yet, so I'll talk when I have a book under my name. Then I can criticize literature all I want when I can say, oh, actually, I've written a book. Here it is. So Dathan Auerbach's story Pen Pal ends with a weird story. Ends weird, has some weird things, has that one beat that I kind of like. The other story, and I'm just remembering another 2, so let's make that 4. The other story I'm thinking about is a story called Baraska, which is about sex trafficking. That's it. It's about sex trafficking. It's dark, it's edgy, it's sad, it's grim. It's about sex trafficking. Yeah. But going back, I'm not I didn't really listen to it lately, but I remember listening to parts of it as a kid before I really understood what it was about. And I remember remembering it was basically like the most dark. Like, it was dark, yeah, but it wasn't like Schindler's List dark. It was like Dark Knight Rises dark, if you know what I mean. It was like edgy for the. It's like Shadow the Hedgehog dark. It was like, oh, we are sad. My life is sad. That was. I remember the phrase like, my friend pushed me to the ground and I smiled, and that was the last time I've ever remembered being happy, or some shit like that. And the whole thing ends with like a "fuck you, Dad, you can't tell me what to do." Drive off in the distance into the great unknown, or some shit like that. I've heard that the person who made it, actually, she started a audio drama podcast, like an old school fucking radio show type shit. That's interesting. They should bring more of those back. I miss old school radio shows. The other two ones that I wanted to mention was My Family Has Been Being Stalked for 4 Years, or whatever it was called, which is about like the most bipolar serial killer ever. And then there's I Dared My Best Friend to Ruin My Life, which I remember reading about. I remember reading up until the part where he captured the guy's girlfriend and held her hostage, and I was like, too heavy for me. But I remember liking it for what it was worth. For what it's worth. Oh, sorry, I'm getting a fucking cavalcade of notifications up here. Well, at least I have an active social life. Unlike some of you. Anyway, yeah, creepypastas, the ones that people seem to like these days are really fucking long, overwrought. Maybe some of them are good, but I think a lot of them would be better served if they were either much better, like, stuff that is 2 or 3 hours long stories, like, internet horror stories, they don't need to be that long unless they have, like, some really, really fucking solid drama. You know what I mean? There are certain genres that are more conducive to massive fucking word lengths, like Arthur C. Clarke speculative hard sci-fi internet creepypastas. There's only so much "my best friend ruined my life" that you can write before it just gets like there's only so much "my family is being stalked by a weirdo" before it just goes there's only so much "I'm being stalked as a kid by some freak" before it goes there's only so much "my friend got kidnapped by fucking rapists" before it all just goes you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Anyway, see y'all later.